This topic is all about market efficiency, but before we can talk about whether or not the market is efficient, we need to define market efficiency. There are different types of efficiency which are applied by economists to economic systems, markets, or organizations. They include allocative efficiency, productive efficiency, dynamic efficiency, and social efficiency, as well as others. But the one that we're interested in when we talk about market efficiency is informational efficiency. One of the most well-known finance researchers, Eugene Farmer, defined an informationally efficient market as one in which security prices fully reflect all available information. He developed what is known as the efficient market hypothesis, EMH. It's important to realize that we are talking about an hypothesis, which is defined in the Oxford Dictionary as a provisional supposition from which to draw conclusions that serve as a starting point for further investigation by which it may be proved or disproved. Now, we don't need to memorize that definition, but it's important to understand that this is an hypothesis. We are not yet saying whether or not the market is efficient. We're talking about what an efficient market would look like, and we need to define that before we can test to see if the market is in fact efficient. So what makes a market efficient? There are two key requirements: a large number of buyers and sellers in the market, and information being released in a random fashion. That just means that good news isn't necessarily followed by good news or bad news. We also need to remember, as we discussed in the topic on the valuation of securities, that the value of a security is the present value of all future cash flows. If these two things are true, then buyers and sellers will continually evaluate the information that is released, form an estimate of future cash flows, form an estimate of the value of securities based on those estimated cash flows, and then make buying and selling decisions accordingly, buying underpriced securities and selling overpriced securities. As a result, market forces, the forces of supply and demand, will cause security prices to adjust until they reflect the information that has been released. After prices adjust, once market participants form a view that securities are correctly priced, there will be no longer any upward or downward pressure on prices. They will now reflect the information. This graph shows what we would expect to see in an informationally efficient market. There are small changes in the share price over time, but no clear upward or downward trend. Then information is released. Buyers and sellers use that information to reevaluate their view as to the value of a security. If the information is good news, then we would expect market participants to form a view that the value of the security is higher than its current price. Those wanting to buy the share will be prepared to pay more than its price prior to the release of the information, but those who hold the share won't be prepared to sell it for the price that it was prior to the information being released. They will only now sell it for a price that they think reflects its true value, and therefore we would expect to see an instantaneous change in the share price to a price that now reflects the information.